About Dave Willis, I always liked, and also I should say Dave, Jane Willis as well. I've always liked the way that they wrote, because they were academics, but they came at things from being initially from being teachers,
Hmm.
and they put things across in a very simple way and put things across in a very clear way. And I always liked that. And I think there's two books by Dave Willis that I think are perhaps have been somewhat underrated over time. Maybe it's just me, but there's one he wrote, I think in 91, called The Lexical Syllabus,
That's a
which
classic.
is now out of print, I think.
It is. It
Um,
is.
which was way ahead of its time when you look back at it now. But it's how you could potentially make a lexical syllabus based on the frequency of words.
Hmm.
That was based on the co-build corpus. Um, seems seems amazingly radical now for the time. And then there was a book he wrote later called Rules, Patterns, and Words, which is about language, and it's also kind of about methodology. I think the language side of it personally is more interesting for me,
Hmm.
but I just really like the way he talks about various aspects of language and how language works in that book. And I saw him give a talk on that book once, and I thought it was just very, very good, very clear. So I've always liked his stuff. I actually like, although they were the co-build textbooks, which I think Dave and Jane Willis authored. They were not a success publishing wise, but I kind of admire the fact that at least they tried to do something different.
Yes.
I don't think it worked at the time. I think there's various reasons for that, but I think it was good that they at least tried to do something different, although it was obviously in publishing terms not a success.
Do you have any inklings why it wasn't a quote
I
unquote success
think,
in publishing terms? Because that's interesting. Because there are like so two of the books that we use in our community like all the time, and we love them. So it's curious, and I'm a bit younger to than 1991 is I was alive, but not thriving, let's say. So in your opinion, why were they not publishing successes? Those two books.
I think the co-build books, the co-build textbooks were there was too many things being tried at the same time. There was a lexical syllabus there. There was a kind of task-based approach to teaching, and there was a very, very different kind of design to the books. And when you sort of pick them up and look at them, you can't immediately quite get what's going on and what to do with them. It takes quite a lot of working out. I
Okay.
don't think design-wise they were particularly helped by the design, but then maybe that was just something
It's
of the
so true.
time.
It's true.
Yeah, so I think probably that really too many different things were being tried at
Do
once.
you also find, Chris? Because I have copies. I actually bought expensive copies 10 years ago of the co-build course book because I'm a huge fan of Willis's as well. And I also find that in something you said earlier, if you're not aware of language, specifically spoken language or
Mm,
lexical grammar, I think
yeah,
you can't really, if you don't have a very high level of language awareness, you can't really teach lexically. You can't look at language and analyze it and break it down and help students notice what Willis is
mm,
uses the recognition, system building, and then exploring. I
yeah,
also find, I don't know to what extent you agree with me, but I also find that one of the reasons why the book didn't succeed is because a lot of teachers just didn't know how to handle that kind of language. They're more, I guess most teachers were trained to teach grammar explicitly. Again, you preemptively say today we're going to talk about this specific target language. So it's very linear in the way we teach that. And as you said, the book is I would say it's a bit confusing because, as you said, there's so much in one page that
yeah,
you don't even know what to focus on.
yeah. I think the structural syllabus, if you like, is has many reasons why it's kind of stayed in place. Really, I think one reason is that it has the appearance of being neat and tidy. Second, it has precedent because that's what people have seen before. And third, as you said, maybe it's something which is covered a lot in training, you know, and there's nothing wrong with grammar. All students need grammar, etc., etc. But yeah, so I think if you come along and you kind of offer something which is quite radically different to that, and saying actually we're going to take things in terms of language via Lexis, it's a big jump for a lot of people, and for various reasons. Yeah.
Just one last point on that, because I'm curious. And you said that you saw Dave and Jane speak. Did they alleviate any of those concerns when you heard them talk about it, or did they kind of compound it?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, well, I didn't see them speaking about the Cobil books because that was probably before my time as well, really. But I saw Dave Willis on his own talking about rules, patterns, and words. That was a presentation of that book. Yeah, and there were some questions really about his approach in the audience there, but I think he dealt with them quite well, really.
Okay.
Jane Willis, I've seen presenting about task-based learning. I think that was, yeah. So that was to a very large group of teachers. Yeah, and I think whether you you know, adopt that methodology or buy into that methodology or not, she was very good at explaining it and making it accessible to the teachers who were there, and you know, giving them every kind of opportunity to use it if should they wish to.